Good morning, you guys. It's so good to see all these beautiful faces, and we're back in person. All right, you guys, we're going to get started. We have a jam-packed morning full of content. We had a little faux pas with the catering, so they did just arrive. So if you guys, there is food, it's just late, but there's coffee, drinks, bagels, fruit, stuff. So if you guys want to mingle out there, you can. But we are going to get started. So thank you for coming. This is amazing. I'm going to hand off to Brian Cushing, who is one of our loan officers with Guild. He is going to introduce our speakers, and we're going to just dive right in.
All right. Lovely faces in person. I love it. But we also have the Zoomers online. So if you couldn't make it, thank you for joining us. We have two great speakers. I'm not going to take much time. I am still on the search for my own social media journey. First Instagram post just in the last 2 months as far as a reel. So I'm still learning. Okay. So social media is really what you want to make of it. It's what how do you want to be perceived online, and you just got to do it so people know who you are when they look you up. That's the way I look at it. So you control that brand. And I'm looking for ideas. So I'm here looking for ideas, and I've got the opportunity to introduce our speakers. So we have Deborah Bird, been in the industry for a long time, but has always been like a teacher. So we were just talking about, she loves teaching. She does mortgage coaching specifically around marketing and on the mortgage side. It's all industry related. So she's coming from Texas. We've got Brandon Morgan. He's been he shot the video, my first Instagram post. So thank you, Brandon. So he's going to talk to us a little bit later about video. So with no further ado, Deborah Bird, you're mic'd up.
Giving you just some insight behind why we're where and where I think we're headed. So when you look at marketing and even agencies back in the day, the ads were all the first lie, I would say, is the consumer said, we don't like the lies that we're told. We have these big hooks of these, potions and lotions that were supposed to cure and solve all problems. They were over promised hooks, and people would buy in, all to then be disappointed. Okay. And that's because there weren't any agencies around, protecting basically what the ad companies were doing. And back in the day, it was more print ads until TV came. Then we saw the remote control, which then was starting to allow you to fast forward through commercials. And then we saw a trend that then you had DVRs created, and then we started having live streaming. And so when you look at kind of the evolution of marketing and what consumers want, they don't want to be lied to anymore. They're over the big hooks, where what happened with the ad companies is they were always trying to one up each other. Who's going to have the better hook? And we've seen that now go into the second rebellion, which is, the end of secrets, because you had the internet come about. And 2/3 of your marketing today is from your clients, whether you realize it or not, because now there's no more secrets, because they have control in all of those Facebook groups and HOA pages. And who do you recommend as a real estate agent? The internet has now allowed people to be more connected, which is a good thing, but it can also be dangerous if you haven't perfected the client experience. So even though I own a marketing company, which, full disclosure, I am not here to sell y'all on anything. I don't work with real estate agents. I do own a marketing company for loan officers. So I want this to be, I don't want y'all to think I'm trying to sell you anything. I want to help empower you and equip you with the right information versus all the, can I say bullshit out there? All the nonsense that's out there. Can we just be real and raw today? Because there is a lot of bullshit out there, right? So the first round was just the end of lies. Now it's the end of secrets. You're going to be exposed to, the perfect example was McDonald's in the 80s and 90s, when, it was starting to be revealed of how they made their chicken nuggets and hamburgers. If you still eat at McDonald's, don't go and watch any of those documentaries, because it scarred me for life. And I used to love those chicken nuggets. But now it's we're just at the start of a new rebellion, which is really the human-centric model, where people are so done with the filters and the lies and the BS that they want the truth. They want what's real. And now that we have social media, everyone is an expert. Everyone's a coach. Everyone's a guru. And like we were talking earlier, who was it that you said someone was talking about how are we going to be in a housing crash? And it was like everything that they were looking online was telling. Share what you had said about the.
Well, there was an article this morning on social media about a guy saying, there's not going to be, this is what's going to happen.
Okay, that was great. Because when I did a Google search and I was on YouTube, because what I have heard, and even just one of my kids' games, I literally hear people say they're currently renting. And I also believe you need to have empathy for people. Like these first-time home buyers, God, love them. Like they are just, they're kind of screwed right now. I don't even know what you say. Like even as a loan officer, if you're taking that call and it's like they want an FHA loan and they want the seller to cover closing costs and they don't have anything but a down payment, it's like, okay, let me give you my competitor that I hate's phone number. No, I'm just kidding. But a little bit of empathy that they're having to sacrifice a lot to save. And it's hard to save right now when inflation is the highest it's ever been, which is kind of scary because you have people who are on fixed incomes, meaning no commission, like they can't make any more, but their expenses are going up. And like I have 4 kids and they say the average increase was $600 a month for a typical household. I'm like, not with 6. Our toilet paper bill alone is more than that. So what are these people doing? How are they living? Are you reaching out to your client database and just literally asking them, how are you doing? And getting them to talk. Because yes, we know that there's appreciation through the roof and people have, equity. But like we were talking earlier, myself included, I hate my house. I would sell in a heartbeat. I bought the home, never saw it. We were moving from Houston to Dallas. I was in the industry, so I knew real estate's always a good investment. I'm like, I've got 4 kids. This house has 5 bedrooms. We're good. It's close to work. I'll buy it. But the backyard is like this big. So my poor neighbors, because I have 3 boys and 1 girl, the amount of balls that end up in my neighbors' yards, and like in that, I am like mortified because I'll be driving down the alley and I see all these balls. And they used to be my promotional, like it had my logo, and I'm like, shit, they even know it's my house. I'm like, damn it. It's good marketing, I guess. But where am I going to go? So the real challenge is I would love to list. I know listing right now is a good idea. I could make a lot of money. But the real issue is, where am I going to go? And so how do we help, and what messaging can we get out there, and how do we use social for truth and for social good that's consistently sending a message to debunk what the news may be saying and what the other noisy, maybe uneducated or inexperienced agents that may be giving bad advice, because that's how people make decisions. They're given information, and based off the information they're given, they're going to try to make the best decision that they can. The problem is not everybody gives the same advice. And that's why I say advice matters. Who are you going to as the expert in the team that's around you to help you make the most informed decision for you and your family right now with the largest purchase of your life that most people only do like 3 times a year? Okay. So understanding where people are at, they don't want the lies. They don't want the filters and the fake news. They also are paying more money for ad blocking services. They just don't want to be marketed to. We've seen a drastic increase in the number of people who are willing to pay more to have ads removed from their feed, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Hulu, because they just don't want to be marketed to. They want to be informed and they want to be entertained a bit. Because let's face it, social media is still meant to be social. It's an escape activity. It's where you go when you're in the bathroom. Instead of reading the back of that shampoo bottle, man, you may be scrolling. Okay. Or you're at a sales meeting and you're bored. Again, you're escaping from life a little bit. So it's an edumatainment factor, but it's also your street cred. It's your online digital footprint. It's your new business card. The only way you can control and possibly control the narrative of judgments that people are going to make on you. And that is the truth. I don't care if you've been in the business for 20 years and you have the best relationships. The number one demographic buying right now is who? Millennials. Do y'all know that they are considered the Y generation? They research everything. They are obsessed. And if you peel it back as to why, I think we forget that, millennials were kids during the housing crash. So they're not super trusting of financial people. We're real estate agents because they're usually better budgeters because they had, their parents were talking to them maybe of why they were losing their home. So they just don't have any money to save because they have the most amount of student loan debt as well. But millennials are research obsessed. It still is going to start with a word of mouth referral. Like, I don't want y'all to think that this is not a relationship business or that you can't have a phenomenal experience before, during, and after, as that is the number one marketing strategy, is delivering and creating raving fans out there that when anyone mentions real estate, do you have a fan base that's going to say, oh, you got to call, what's your name? Micah? Mike. I love the blue and the ace. Micah. Like, are they trained to do that? Because remember, 2/3 of your marketing is now going to be controlled by the consumer. The future of marketing is going to be your clients. And there's things you can do to train them today. And at the very initial conversation, even if they don't qualify, like let's say you send them to your phenomenal loan officer who invited you to this event, and maybe they're not ready credit-wise. You can still plant the seed of, hey, I know it's not a no. We never say no, it just isn't right now. Here's your plan of how to get there. But if there is something that you learned here in this meeting, would you be willing to share it on social? Tag me, because chances are there's probably someone just like you with the same question who doesn't know where to go to get the advice. And I want to make sure, my mission is to make sure that I'm giving advice to people who need it. Would you be willing to do that? She's saying yes. I love it. Okay, so you don't have to wait till the end of the transaction to ask for the review or ask them permission to tag you in a post so that other people, you're leveraging their database and their trust by them tagging you in a very subtle way that's educational, because they're going to feel extremely grateful that you've just referred them to a rock star loan officer who actually took the time to dissect their credit, who provided a credit strategy and says, here's your roadmap of exactly what to do and how to get there. Because left on your own, if that person tried to do it themselves, they probably would have spent more money, would have taken more time. And we know the cost of waiting right now. So get good at telling them, even if it's a first-time home buyer that you just helped, I want you to bring the awareness of capturing those magical moments that people care to see, not your social feed being blown up by just sold, just listed, why me? Because that's what most y'all are laughing, because you guys know that's what most of y'all's feeds. I don't know. I haven't looked at y'all's feeds, so I'm making an assumption, but most agents, what I see is another listing. I'm like, cool. What does that mean to me? Just sold. Okay. We all know you're a rock star. Like, what does that mean to me? People don't care. I know this sounds mean. They don't care about you. They care about what you can do for them. So instead of saying just sold, make it a story, because people relate to stories. And I want y'all to write this question down, and I want you to think of all the multiple ways you could answer it, because this is going to be a video series that you're going to start recording and sharing, right? Okay, good. What problems can equity solve? What problems can equity solve? And I want y'all to get really good at identifying the problems you solve. And that's what you put on social, not just sold, not just listed. What'd you say? Are you sure?
Yeah. I was kidding. I said, what problem? I'm like, what problem?
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother, you can just, private message me. That's a whole nother session. I'm just kidding. But think about that. Let's just even peel that back a little bit further. People have money problems. The number one stress is money. Money destroys families. It causes divorces. It causes domestic violence. People don't know how to use the equity that they're sitting on right now to possibly solve a problem unless you share it. So an example could be, because I did a class like this and I had someone share, they helped a client sell a home who needed the money. He couldn't do a cash out refinance. He needed the money because his child was autistic, had just been diagnosed, needed a year of therapy that insurance was going to take too long to be able to provide, and he needed to get help right away for his child. That is a real life problem that someone had, that because of what you do, you helped transform a life and a family and a kid who needed help. So I don't want y'all to just think you buy and sell real estate. You guys transform lives and provide the number one thing, which is shelter, where people can go home to and they can fart in their sheets and nobody has to know, like that's home. It's like, that's where you look forward to going, where you can be your most vulnerable, naked self and like, don't have to suck in because nobody's around. That's what you provide. So invite them to be with the journey with you. So you sell the home, and instead of the just sold, get good at planting the seed with them at, hey, when you put that new key into your door for the very first time, they don't have to be in their face doesn't have to be in the photo. I want to capture that moment. Every Thursday, I'm committed to sharing magical moments of homeownership. And those magical moments could be good, bad, or ugly. Like it could be the toddler that's throwing that darn sippy cup for the 18th time on the floor that you at first thought was cute. So now the kid keeps doing it. And it could just be the kid throwing it on the floor. It could be, we have Easter coming up. What are those magical moments that if you did hashtag, guild, whatever your, brand name is, magical moments. And they just get good at tagging you, at sharing the fact that you create generational wealth for families, but also generational memories. That's what people want to be a part of. That's what builds the community. And you ask them for that. Like maybe you're going to Home Depot and you're picking out, y'all have Home Depot here, right? Okay. And they're picking out the paint samples for the very first time. You know, I think I painted my kitchen in my first house like 7 times. But it was a lot of different colors. It was like the rainbow. But imagine if you had on your feed those magical moments. That's what people care about. They don't care that you had another listing and that you had another sale. They fall in love with the story and the people behind it. It's a great idea for you to do on Thursdays, to stand out and not be like all the other agents that post all the same things. That feels very selfish, because remember, the marketing shift that we're in is nobody cares. All they care about is, how does this benefit me? On top of the fact that now with social media, it's a very noisy space. There's literally 5,300 posts made every second, 5,300 that you're competing with. And so the reality is your posts organically are never going to be seen. Do you guys understand that? Do you? Because there's an organic strategy and then there's a paid strategy. And I have too many clients, especially loan officers, that are like, I made a post, I only got 2 likes. I'm like, what is your motive for posting exactly? Like, do you understand the psychology behind social media and what it's meant for? No one's going to see your post. You're competing with 5,300 posts. And the way that the machine learning and algorithms work is to feed an addiction, which there is a lot in legislation right now. There could be changes this year, because it is very scary to think, you know, the high school kids that are going through a breakup, and so they're looking up very depressing quotes, or the machine learning knows exactly what order and what to show you, because they want to keep you on their platform. Why? Because then they can charge more for ads. Okay, so if I make a post with me and my 4 kids, and you make a post of just sold, and they look at the prehistoric behaviors of your followers and what they typically like and comment on, do you think there's going to be more evidence to show that they like and comment on a mom at a ballpark with her kids, or you having a just listed or just sold? Okay. So anytime you use people, babies, or pets, that's great for algorithms. Not that things should be done for algorithms, but that's just what people want to see. And socialism is meant for creating social relationships. There's been a lot of drop off since 2019 on Facebook. Facebook is still the largest platform, but a lot of people are getting off of it. Why do you think? Okay, political, the hatred, what else? Well, they've just changed the addiction to another one, honestly.
High schoolers think it's gross.
They do. I have a Gen Z that I hired on my team, and she's like, I don't even have a Facebook account. I'm like, what? God, I feel old. Reminded me of my last year teaching middle school science, and I was trying to talk to them about the periodic table, and I was like, okay, this group is like the Brady Bunch, and this group is like Jersey Shore, and they were like, who's the Brady Bunch? I'm like, all right, I am officially old and no longer cool. They knew who Jersey Shore was, which I don't know if that's pathetic or. More and more people are getting off of Facebook just because of the ads. It's still number 1, but what we also saw, and this is just behavioral metrics, and this was the onset of COVID, more and more people, we've seen a drastic decline in the number of likes, comments, and shares on all platforms since 2019, drastically gone down. In fact, look at your own. If you like a business page. Good. Yesterday. Okay. Most people tell me they're like, What about, have you yourself noticed maybe a decrease in you just liking and commenting? Now, what they think in the behavioral class that I'm in is people don't want the phantom ads. Now, privacy is a big deal. And they worry if I like or comment. I mean, I can't even talk around my phone without seeing an ad showing up. So it's just drastically, the screen time increased over COVID. More and more people were on their phones. And at a time when we've never been more connected, people feel depressed and more lonely than ever. And they're not commenting and liking. So I don't want you guys to believe in the illusion that social media, if it's not getting likes, comments, or shares or views, that it's not working. But how you leverage that as your competitive advantage is you should be liking and commenting on strategic accounts every day. Every client and every prospect, whether it's a referral source, which guys, divorce attorneys would be a great one to go after right now. Life events when people have to sell. That is how you recession proof your business. They have to sell. They usually can't refinance because two people needed to qualify for the loan and now they got to sell. Which I know in my area, 70% of the divorces filed are filed pro se, which means they represent themselves. That's even scarier. Because I'm like, how in the world are they dividing their largest asset? And please tell me they're not using Zillow as their point of reference. You know what I mean? For a value. I don't even know how attorneys are doing it right now. That would be a great solution you could provide to an attorney of, hey, I know your biggest pain point when dividing the marital home is probably coming up with the value. Is it market value? Is it what it's actually going to sell for? How do you know? What do you list it for? What you don't want is for the two people to disagree and then you let the court appoint their own real estate professional. Then that goes back to the types of problems you solve in storytelling, using social as a platform to storytell, so that one person, all it takes is for them to hear that. And you say at the very end, I share this with you all because you may know someone, or this may be your sister, or this may be your aunt who's going through the same thing. And I'm just here to help. It's a lot different message than just sold, just listed, because now you're creating something. But you have to be human and you have to be willing to get on video. How many of y'all are scared to death? And be honest, doing video, you're like, oh, it scares you to death. Practicing? Okay, so I want to address head on. Is the mic you? It's hard. I mean, I think there's an here that I had a conversation with, and she was very honest. And she's like, look, Deb, I hate social media. I'm trying to put out fires, get loans done. Like I wear 18 different hats. And now you're telling me I got to get a videographer or like a photographer, and I got to create content for and like get my makeup done. Like I'm trying to just do what I'm supposed to do as a loan officer. Not, and it feels like a whole, you're now a marketer, and you are. That's why I encourage you to leverage a team like Brandon. Your cost of trying to edit things yourself and doing some of the admin work and making the post, it's costing you more than what he charges, because the opportunity of you being able to pick up another call and follow up on a prospect or meet with a divorce attorney, you can't afford not to leverage out that service. It's the law of leverage. You leverage out someone else's expertise so that you don't have to, so you can do the money-making activity that's going to get you business and the most human activities that builds trust. So I want to hit that mindset head on, because I never want y'all to feel like I have to post or I have to record. I want you to do it from a motive and a spirit standpoint of you care enough about people. And I know you guys do. Every discovery call I've ever done, they're like, I just really care. I'm like, cool. How do you care? Because I hear that all the time. What makes you any different? How do I know you care? If you really care about helping people and you are really good at what you do, then I don't want you to think you're creating content. You're just documenting and being the content. You're just, and that's what people want to see. The raw, authentic, a little bit of humor. Like you could be walking a home and you could see cracks in the wall. And it's like, hey, if you're a first-time home buyer, these are some of the things you may want to look out for when you're looking at properties. You're just documenting what you do. You're not creating, because the motive can't be to sell. You're informing, you're connecting. Because at the end of the day, remember, your post is seen based off a word of mouth referral. That's where it always starts, organically. Someone's going to refer you. And that millennial or that Gen Z is going to immediately do some research. And this is the only way you can control the narrative, because your social media is an online transparency of a resume. And so people are going to go to your account. They're going to scroll a couple of feet. They're not going to like, they're not going to comment. They're probably not going to follow because that feels creepy. That's why you still have to have a business page. Nobody's ever going to see it. You can get reviews there. You can run ads from it, but it's creepy to go friend request someone when you're like, who is this person? What? And people are very insecure. They're gonna be like, oh, what are they going to think of me? Should I friend request them? I kind of want to snoop before I call them and contact them because they're very worried about their self-interest. They want to know if you were a lender, then I would say they want to make sure that you're not going to screw them on rate and fees at the bottom line. And they don't know anything about getting a mortgage. They don't understand how money works. I don't care if you're a doctor, an engineer. They don't teach you this stuff in school. So it is scary. Like everybody wants a house. And as soon as you say you got to get pre-approved, they're like, ooh, because they don't understand how credit works. They don't know how money works. It's the fun part to just window shop and watch those HGTV shows where people are buying these $1 million homes on a teacher salary. It's very scary to go to a lender and feel completely financially naked and have someone, you know, especially depending on egos or your role in the relationship. I mean, it could be this man and it could be man or woman who's wanting to provide for their family and they accidentally made one late payment on a credit card and their score has dropped and now they're going to miss out on the homes of their dreams and they got to tell their wife who's now going to nag him for 20 years that they didn't get. Not, I'm just being, you know, I feel like I can say it since I'm a woman, but it's stressful. So how do you remove that friction? How is it that the moment someone is referred to you and they land on your page, they're going to make two judgments about you: warmth and competency? Are you a strategist? Do you have a loan officer that you work with that y'all are consistently doing videos together to show creative solutions? We were talking earlier about leveraging arms. Like, hey, you may have been out looking at price points and this has never happened before. And by the way, agents, it really helps when you set your lender up this way. Like when you're referring clients over, if they're still using mortgage calculators online with a 3% interest rate, it's like, please help your teammate and say, look, dude, I'm going to send you to this lender. They're the best in the business. I'm going to let you know interest rates are in the fives. I don't care if you have an 800 credit score, it's a 30-year term, 20% down. You need to know that rates are in the fives. That takes a lot of pressure off of your lender, who then it feels like they're selling or making excuses just because maybe that person has been living under a rock and doesn't realize rates have gone up the fastest they ever have. So partnering with your lender and maybe doing a weekly show that you guys host, and you're just having a very informal conversation about where the market's at, where interest rates at. Maybe you invite a financial advisor. Maybe you invite a CPA every once in a while. Maybe it's a stager. Maybe it's a contractor who's going to give a tip of like how to change out air filters. Again, you're thinking of before, during, and after the process. Don't forget about the clients who've already done business with you. Because sometimes you get so focused on the next deal that you forget to love and nurture on your database, which is really all that social media is an extension to your database. So don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as, I'm just sharing truth of this business, because if you don't, here's what happens. You are going to risk that person hearing it from someone else, where now they're going to go follow and learn from that person simply because you weren't willing to do it yourself. Is it worth the risk? And when you have that conviction that you know you're the best agent or loan officer for that person, and you feel it like you own it, your insecurities of what are people going to think? What are they going to say? How do I look? What if I get negative comments on my feed? I want you to value your opinion more than other people's and know that your motive is pure, that your goal is to be the best agent that there is. You're giving the best truthful advice. It would be ridiculous for them to use anyone but you. And when you own that, it's not this, oh, I just don't know if I should share that. Or what if I'm not right? Do you know how much shit I've shared that's not right, that I have people that comment and they're like, actually, and sometimes those are the yeah butters. Like I do this for originators. So I've made this post about, minimum credit scores, 580, 3.5% down for an FHA loan. And sure enough, you have all the yeah butters, and it's usually other lenders, right? It's not like, which is fine because it's good for algorithms, but they're like, yeah, but technically you can go down to 500 credit score with 10% down. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, are we really trying to capture that group? And yes, sometimes that works, but there's extenuating circumstances. And so you're going to get that. It's like anything. But once you get comfortable enough in your own skin and you understand why and your motive of being on social, if it's to be famous, I have clients. In fact, I actually have a loan officer here locally that buys followers and likes. And you know what I strongly dislike about that is because I understand it was meant for the perception of credibility. Like it looks really good if you have 100,000 followers. It's just not real. And guys, that's what I mean by the shift that we're in with marketing is people just don't want the bullshit. They want the direct. They want you to get on. And I was telling them earlier, I like this hair looks like Albert Einstein in the mornings. It's really not attractive. It's like a frizzy, not straight, not curly, and I'm a hot sleeper. So put that visual in your head. When I wake up, it is like Hot Mess Express. And if I got on and I'm like, hey, I'm looking at hot sheets, or I was looking at how many days on market, or good news, guys, we're seeing more active listings and new listings for the first time in 6 months. We've actually seen that mark go up. Do you know, and I'm not saying you show up like this on social all the time, but when I do that, they're like, oh my God, she's a human being. Like she's a hot mess. Now I gave them permission to also be imperfect, which when you're buying a home, especially even once you're getting financing, it's like, people don't want to deal with robots. If they wanted a robot, they would go with Zillow. So do what Zillow and Amazon can't do. And that just means be a human. Like people ask me all the time, well, what about personal branding? How do I know? I'm like, guess what? They've never made it more easier, guys. Personal brand is you. It's just you. Nobody cares the name on the front of the jersey anymore. Nobody. It's the name on the back. It's what you stand for. Who are you? Which means you also have to diversify your content and include at least 1 or 2 personal posts a week. Gary Vee is one of the best content creators I know, and you've never seen a picture of his wife or his kids. So I'm not saying social media is something that you have to document and bring your phone everywhere, because that's never more annoying. Like when you're, especially me with my kids, I'm like, can you put the freaking phone down? I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Like I took my kid to Vegas. We did a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon, and you know what she was doing? Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? We're like doing a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon. Like, put the darn phone down. It's a whole nother story. But you can control what you put on social. You don't have to document everything. If you don't want to, don't. If there's something private about your life, then keep it private. You don't have to share everything, but be intentional about showing up as a human being as part of your strategy. Because remember, people are judging you on warmth and competency, and it's still, social is meant to be social. They want people fall in love with people. So that's what I like about leveraging social, especially the practice. You woke up, you wished all your friends happy birthday every morning. You were intentional about doing 20 likes and 20 comments on other people's accounts. Do you think you're going to stay top of mind when you do that? I just told y'all that's drastically decreased. So that's a way to keep showing love to the people that have shown they love you, which is those who have done business with you. When you do that and you do direct messages, the algorithms think you guys have a relationship. So if you've ever wondered on social why you see certain people more than others, like if you look at the stories, are you ever like, I wonder why this person always shows up for me when I have 5,000 friends? It's because those people you've probably interacted with more. You've either liked and commented, you've said something on a story, you sent a direct message. So it's back into the relationship game. Then your content creation, the psychology behind it has got to be, what is in it for them? How are you showing your expertise? Don't just sell, teach, inform. And when you're coming from a place of good and you're just trying to share goodness coupled in with personal stuff, like whatever you're into, if you like to ride Harleys, if you like rock and roll, if you're, with your kids on the weekend, show different glimpses of that, because that's what makes you human. And I will say, include your team in that. Do some behind the scenes. Like, here's me running DU for the 15th time because I got to make this deal work, because it's my first deal with this amazing real estate agent. I got to get it to work. So people relate to that. We're obsessed with reality TV. That's where streaming has taken us. It's all reality. Yes, y'all ask questions. Anytime there's a question that come up, you guys just ask away.
I'll ask one, but
It was me. I was just curious about how you felt about TikTok, because a lot of younger generation, well, younger, I'm pretty young anyway, but somebody younger than me that's in high school said that I should start one because I'll get more grasp.
150%.
Yeah. Okay. I
TikTok-
just felt like, I know I'm young, but I still feel old to be on do a TikTok thing. I do the videos and all for Instagram, but at the same time, it's just one of those things that TikTok is just totally out of my grasp.
You
So
guys
I'll
have
get
to
right
follow
on
me. I made a really funny post about this. So
that.
if you follow Deborah A. Bird on Instagram, and it's spelled Deborah A. Bird, my business name is Plug and Play _SM. But I made a really funny post where it was me at 3 a.m., like laughing at my phone. I call it my research time. TikTok is a dark hole, guys. It is funny. It is funny as shit. So funny. But it's the #1 downloaded app for the last 2 years. You know why? Like, let's look at that. We're talking a little bit about psychology here and human behavior. Why do you think so many people, even our age, you guys may not be creators on it, but if you're consumers of it, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, it's 4 a.m. and I'm on this, but it's funny. Why do you think it's the #1 downloaded app, and why people are going there? There's no BS. It's funny. It's an escape of life. People want to learn, but again, there's got to be, I use humor. I am a little, I color outside the lines a little bit, obviously. My language isn't always perfect. I don't always follow the rules. I'm a little bit of a risk taker, and I like funny things. So you'll see in my content, I used to hide that about myself because I had an identical twin that when I first got into the business, I was almost like an extension of her brand. And when you're an identical twin, everybody puts y'all side by side, and society wants to be like, they want y'all to be just alike. And what's really fun is when they put you side by side and they're like, oh, you're the one with the wider hips, and like, you're the one with the longer nose. I'm like, cool. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Really helps my confidence. But I used to hide our differences, and I didn't even realize this until thousands of dollars in coaching and therapy probably later, of me wanting to be my own self, but not knowing that would be accepted. Because you got to remember, I mean, people would call me Denise or Deborah, and I'd be like, yep. Because I was raised like Donahue twin. Okay. Like, we were always considered one thing. It wasn't until we went to separate schools that I finally was like, holy shit, I don't know how to be an individual. Like, and that's what I love about working with my clients is, I think, because when I struggled so hard of trying to figure out what is my X factor, and when I was originating and competing against one of the top originators in the country, I mean, she helped over 720 families last year on her own. She doesn't have LOs underneath her. And I thought, here I have someone with the exact same DNA who has the exact same loan products. We work for the same company in the same area that we grew up in. Yet she had 10 years on me because I was a teacher first. Why in the hell would anybody use me over her? Like, she was the mortgage nerd. I'm like, I don't even know how to spell mortgage yet. I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, I know how, I have an escrow account. I don't really know how it works. But people would do business with me because they trusted me. They knew I had their best interest at heart. I was a teacher. I loved showing them how credit worked. And there were certain people that wanted to do business with me over her. And I was like, like, if it was an engineer or, more of the sophisticated, higher net worth clients, she was great with them. I hated those clients. I'm like, oh, they're going to ask me, how does mortgage coach work? Because I would show up with that phenomenal TCA. I'm like, I just hope they don't ask me how these numbers came about, because I have no idea. It was the software that put it together. But I could talk to people. I love people. I was great at building trust and rapport with people. I'm like, I have no idea. It took me a while to learn it. But I had to fight tooth and nail to figure out, what is it about me that makes me different? And when you have someone that shares your exact same DNA, that we were bred from kids to outwork each other, it's like, I knew there wasn't going to be anyone else to work harder than me but her. So I had a huge insecurity with that. And you guys, how many of y'all have identical twins, just like you, doing the exact same thing that you do in the exact same area? for the same company. Oh. I mean, if you were, we were delivery table surprise twins too. They had no idea there was two of us. I know, it's crazy. I've been kind of a surprise. That was a statement coming out. They had no idea. They thought it was just one baby. They were done. And I'm like, wait for me. I'm still in here. Don't close up shop. Like, seriously, true story. Yeah. But figure out, I know it's scary because a lot of times, to me, that's the bigger battle with social right now. It's not that you guys don't know what to post or even how to post. Some of that may be true. There's a thing called YouTube, and you can literally ask, how do I post a reel? You could figure it out, or you could hire a brand, and that's what I would recommend, and let him do it. But it's usually insecurity deep inside where you fear the approval of other people. You maybe haven't quite figured out who you are, or maybe even accepted yourself. And I can relate to you because that was me all the way up until I had a whole different Instagram account called DebX, because that's kind of my stage name. It's Deb to the X power. It doesn't exist anymore. Just shows I was so scared to be me because I was always known as the Donahue twin, that I had this other persona that was really who I was. Is that my timer? Oh, Brandon, where's Brandon? Okay, he can just kick me out whenever but that was the biggest psychological challenge that I see most people when it comes to social, is getting out of their own way. And I say, remove the E from ego, remove it and just go. And not that this is a religious thing, but if I were Jesus Christ, and I'm not, but if Jesus had this little device back then to use it for social good and to use social truth and to build relationships, how would he use this little thing that can connect to thousands of people who can choose not to receive? They have every right not to accept, right? I had these missionaries knock on my door, and I'm not LDS, but it was during COVID. And I thought, I have these 18, 19-year-old kids knocking on my door with masks. They've probably had the door shut on them how many times? They didn't care. They still knocked with a positive attitude, and they asked, we'd like to share something with you that we think could help. They asked permission, and I have the right to say no. Was that going to stop them? Did they let it hurt their feelings? Did they say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore? It's not working. No, because what they believed in was that it was truth and that it was good and that it could help somebody. And that's what you can use social media for. There's a dad on TikTok who is viral because he didn't have a dad growing up. So all he creates are videos of all the lessons that a dad should teach you, that he didn't have a dad to teach him: how to tie a knot, how to put a hook on a line. So there's a negative. I say social media, it's very similar to money. People say money's the root of all evil. Depends. Money is an exposer of who you are. Social media is the same way. You can use it to lie and to manipulate, which is what marketers typically do. They try to manipulate perceptions, just like buying all these followers and likes to make it look like you're a big deal. I'd rather you just be a big deal and create raving fans out there that when anyone thinks of real estate or mortgage, they're hearing your name. But you have to know and trust the game has changed. The word of mouth referral is no longer enough because we are research obsessed. The millennials and Gen Zs were basically born with an iPad in their hand, and there is no boundary between online and offline anymore. It's always been integrated. So if you're a baby boomer in the room, no, this may be very hard for you to accept because social media didn't exist until you were already in your career and established. It's like, why would I ever post a picture of my food that I'm eating? And why would anybody care? It's like, these people are so selfish and vain, and it's true a little bit. Same thing with Gen X. Gen X, by the way, are the demographic who bought the most expensive homes last year, but they also are not, they were earlier on in their careers with social. So they're still not, they're very influenced by family and friends because that was the demographic that their parents were starting to get divorced, but then sitcoms like 90210 and Friends were coming out. So they were very friends based and social beings. Just social media wasn't really, the internet was around, but it wasn't, I think it was like MySpace. What was it? I don't know. Whatever. But it wasn't. So even if you're a Gen X in the room, this may still be a little bit more foreign to you. It doesn't mean it's not real. It may be true to you, but it doesn't make it true. The millennials and the Gen Zs, they've adopted this because it was integrated since birth. And so it's the social proof, it's the street cred. It's no different than having testimonials. People scroll on average 300 feet a day. 300 feet. Like YouTube is the new TV. I don't even know. I think I have a TV in every single room. I'm like, I don't even know why. I watch YouTube for everything. I don't have YouTube TV. I don't even have Apple Music because I would go to the gym and I would just YouTube it. I know it sounds, I'm an old millennial. That's my excuse anyway. So I'm going to hang on to that one. But TikTok is wherever the younger demographics are is typically what's going to be held to be true. I just want you to understand the why is because it's a little bit of an edutainment. It's quick, it's informative. There's no ads. There were no ads. That's why once ads get into the mix, that's where marketers can ruin everything because we overdo it. That's why Reels, the rules applied to the algorithms, which guys, this is changing all the time. But if you can think of it, your social rank score is very similar to a credit score. There's lots of different factors and percentage weights. So like for credit, you have credit utilization, credit history, different credit types, whether it's revolving installment. It's no different than social media. Social media, social utilization, social history. Utilization meaning, are you creating relationships? Are you also making it a symbiotic? Are you creating content? The algorithms will reward you. Are you also commenting, liking? Because again, all the algorithms care about is that you're feeding the addiction. And if you're keeping people on their platform, the better. You post a reel, Reels are competing heavily with TikTok because people are going to TikTok to be entertained. And there's a fine line of being silly. In my opinion, there's ways to use the trends and the algorithms to help teach and still be a professional. And then there's times where I'm like, okay, like I have clients, they'll send me their stuff and it reminds me of Hitch whenever Will Smith like smacks the guy because you're like, don't ever do that again. Like, please refer to me before you ever post something like that again. But you know, kudos for them getting out there. But just know you don't, doesn't mean you have to be like shaking your booty on TikTok or, you know, whatever you want to do. But short form vertical content, video content, Mark actually said with Facebook, he thinks by the end of this year, Facebook will also go to all short form vertical, which vertical just means you're using your phone. You know, it's not this way, it's this way. And there's things that matter, like having captions, because 90% of the videos on social, people have the volume off. You know why? Because they're at a sales meeting, because they're laying next to their spouse in bed, supposed to be asleep. So if you don't have a video editor like Brandon's team to edit every video you do with captions, it's like you're doing it, but people are going to keep swiping because 90% of videos don't have sound on. You still need to include music. I've had clients that ask me, well, why do I need to add music to my reels? Because there's certain sounds that are trending that the algorithm see people are liking with that sound. So there's ways to incorporate it in your reels, which again, y'all don't need to worry about any of that nonsense or spending your time on it. Just send it to Brandon and let him figure it out for you. But all of these little things matter with social. And then it's also changing all the time. So if you just document and you just be the content and you get really good at your core values, like if I were to say, why should I use you out of all the agents in this entire room? Why you? Why do you matter? What is it that you tell people? Like, honestly, write that down. You need to ask yourself, why me? Why do I matter? What is your X factor? Why should people use you? Whatever those top 3 core values are, I want you to then audit your testimonials. Is that what your clients are saying about you? Are they using the same words you are? That you care, that you have proactive communication, that you study the market like it's your oxygen that you breathe because you consume it so that you can be the ninja on the street fighting for them. I would do videos literally walking the street saying, this is why you don't use Zillow or any flat fee broker, where I know these streets because this house I've sold 6 times. And I know this house on this side of the street sells more than this house over there because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's the school district. You know why I know? Because I'm a real estate agent that walks these streets every single day, and I have for 20 years. I'm the incredible Hulk of this pond. And then you could be like, you know, whatever. Also be the community member. We talked about how social media is very noisy. People are more lonely than they've ever been. So no, there's human truths that are never going to change. No matter what happens with technology, the number one human need is to feel like they belong. Are you creating a community where your clients feel like they belong to something? Harley Davidson's a great example. And this is no offense to anyone in the room, but where else could an overweight 50-year-old go to feel cool? You buy a Harley. I love riding on the back of a Harley because I feel cool. Okay, that's why I say no offense. But as soon as you say you have a Harley and you get that Harley t-shirt and whatever signals they do when they're like, you have now just reached a level of badass and like cool factor, because and it doesn't matter which Harley Davidson store you go to or any Harley biker on the road. It's like, like we're a big deal, because you feel like you belong to something, so much to where Ford built a truck. Like, what brand puts another brand on your brand? Furthermore, people get tattoos of Harley Davidson. That's when I know I've made it in life, was you guys start tattooing my logo on your bodies. Please take pictures, hashtag, tag me in it. Just kidding. But yeah, Tesla. But they created a community of outlaws or whatever you want, where people feel like they belong. So how do you do that in your community? Maybe you have your private Facebook group where you invite all of your friends to, and you make that the pillar of the community, and you're out and about and you're in the community. I had a lady who had the worst cucumber soap in her bathroom. And I thought, in marketing classes, if you've ever learned about Ivory soap, it was the number one soap for a very long time. They owned the market. It was 10 times cheaper than this gritty cucumber soap in this lady's bathroom. And I thought, why in the world would she be spending so much more on this cucumber soap that doesn't work as well? It didn't even smell good. It was gritty than Ivory soap, which has always been, or Dial or any of the other household soaps. You know what her answer was? I thought it was going to be because she just loved the brand. She said, I love the hands that make it. They are in our community. They're at all the community events. They care about our community. And so it's not anything, the soap actually isn't any better. And it's 10 times more expensive. But they fell in love with the heart and soul of the people, which is why you also need your teammates, because your teams could also be leveraging social for good or bad for you. Do they love what they do? Do you create a culture, an environment that's fun? Do you have cool photos when you just win an offer? It's like, here's live footage of my face of us finally accepting an offer from someone that we've made 100 offers for. Like, have you ever seen $1 Million Listing? I just started watching this show. Frederick does this little bing, it's hilarious. It's super annoying, but at the same time, it's just funny. It's become like his thing. And I've started, even myself, because I've clearly have lived under a rock where all I study is mortgage content. I started watching this show, and I've even my kids were like, I'm like, don't do that. Like, you guys are not allowed to do that. But people will fall in love with you when you show up and you learn to love and accept yourself enough for who you are, and you're vulnerable enough to show the human side of what you do. It's not always going to be peachy. Show that. Show the times you struggle. Show the times you win. But that is where marketing is at right now. It is the most human brand wins. If you want to compete against Zillow and the robots of the world, then don't be a robot. Value your opinion enough where that matters more than somebody else's hateful comment, and use social for good. Spread financial truth around real estate. We've got tax day coming up. I hate tax day. I'm always trying to find ways I can legally not pay taxes. And I've heard there's some cost segregation with buying investment properties where I'm like, I'll carry as many finance properties as possible so I don't have to pay the amount that I have to do in taxes. I don't care what the house looks like. And then I got to sell them. Eventually, I'm going to have to keep selling them and buying more. Would you like to get in with other business owners who hate paying taxes, where you could solve this problem for them? It goes back to, what problems do you solve? A lot of people, this is more on the loan officer side, my opinion is the excuse of, I don't like the way I look and I don't like the way I sound. I'm like, all right, I'm calling BS on this at this point. You have done enough Zoom meetings. My grandma can be on Zoom. You have not studied your craft. and you don't know, you're not in the game anymore, where now social's exposing the posers. Like, I want it to be valuable content that you share, that you're the strategist and how you help clients make decisions. People don't like to make decisions because then they have to take responsibility for them. It's a lot easier to blame other people. But how are you showing them how to make, that was a TikTok. Was that me? Oh, it's pathetic. I like sing TikTok songs in my head now instead of, it's horrible. See, you guys know what I'm talking about. What questions do you have before I turn it over to Brandon, who's going to go a little bit more tactical on the how-tos and the wins? Any questions on that with so far with social and what I've, do y'all feel like you understand the strategy a little bit better? And now you can be more intentional and purposeful with what you're putting out there. Yes, back there.
Hi, you were talking about captioning.
Yes.
So what I heard is that you have to do captioning now because there are people out there that will sue you because you're not helping the deaf community and everything. So you have to caption all your social media like that.
And where was that? Where did you hear that? What was that, on social or?
I think it was social media and other, I pick up information. I can't figure out where I hear it.
And that is the blessing and the curse of social. There are settings on your phone that if you were deaf, that have closed captioning automatically turned on. If you've ever seen a video that has captions and then you also see captions, you probably have that setting turned on your device. I've not heard, you can't mandate people to do that. It is best practice to have it on there. What can be frustrating is when you're not a practitioner or a videographer, when you have a reel, there's a safe zone that shows on your feed. And then you have what's a little bit longer. And the people who don't do this every day, because you're trying to do real estate, this is why you hire Brandon, and they'll make sure it's in the safe zone just in case they don't click on it where it gets bigger. That's probably the number one mistake I see with people who even do reels, is they forget to have the hook on the very front. So when someone's referred to you, like, don't get fixated on individual posts. Some of you get like this and you're like, oh, and you overthink a post. I'm like, dude, no one's going to see it. Remember, they're going to see it as a whole. Unless you run ads, which I do have a solution. If you are someone that wants to run ads, that's a different strategy. But when they see your cocktail of a feed and you look at someone who has reels, if you don't have a hook on the front, all it looks like is you're like, and there's no hook. So like, why would I click on it and listen? Because I could be scrolling for a couple of feet and maybe this one's about, 2 different neighborhoods or whatever this is why we're not in a housing bubble. This is why this time right now is nothing like 2008. Here's why you don't listen to your parents when buying a home right now. That one's a little edgier, but leave dad at home, please. Only refer to me, So the hook is the most important part, because remember, it's a very noisy space. Now, Instagram and Facebook favor reels because, again, it's competing with TikTok. So anytime you do a reel or you go live or you add to your story, those 3 things, so stories, reels, and lives are going to get the most exposure. It doesn't have the same rules that are applied. Stories last for 24 hours. That's kind of the day in the life, behind the scenes. It's always good to have stickers that's like asking questions, like, would you buy this house? I had one agent do one of the flower beds and how you shouldn't have it covering your foundation. I had no idea. So you know what I did? I went out to my front yard. I'm like, well, hot damn. Like, I'm going to go look at my flower beds. I'm going to record a video. And I ended up tagging her saying, hey, how do you grade my flower beds? Because I literally just paid to have them done. And she's like, I'd give you an 85. I was like, oh shit. I'm going to tell I got to come back out and like put this stuff down because it's covering my foundation. I tagged her. When I tagged her in my story, it went on her story. She shared good advice. It was that going to get her a lead? No. But she's still creating. Okay, I like that you just said maybe, because I want to clear this part up. Who said maybe? It's content, but Don't also allow, like for the lenders in the room, when you see a lead form that says, how did you find out about me? And they say my real estate agent, know that that's true, but that may not always be what was the decision that got them to contact you. Because most likely they got the name from their agent. They researched you to see if you're crazy. And they want to be informed a little bit because they're scared you're going to take advantage of them. And if it's a millennial, they surely want to know a little bit about what they're talking about because they don't trust you. So they're trying to spot check. It's never going to say that on a lead form. So I have too many that will quit and be like, it's not working for me. I'm like, how do you know? How can you quantify the moment? It's a behavioral metric that someone now feels safe enough to contact you because of your feed. Because here's what else you can't quantify. You don't know how many at-bats you're missing. Because this is the only online transparency of a resume. It's a check you have to write. It's like an employee that's working for you. Just write the check to Brandon right now. Go to this last page, and I don't work for Brandon, but go ahead and go to this last page. And it's a business write-off, guys. Go ahead and sign up and just write the check because it's a business expense. If you don't have a post, they could be like, well, shit, maybe they got out of the business. Maybe they don't do a whole lot. Like human beings are just illogical people that they create stories in their head. So what is so beautiful about social media is you can control the narrative. You get to choose what they see. You control it. So it's crazy. So leverage out the heavy lifting and be the content. I'm going to turn it over to Brandon so he can go over creating a content calendar and some of the specifics. But I'm telling you, you just got to write the check. You just have, it's an employee that's going to always work for you because it's your digital footprint. You just have to do it. It's the shift. It's the time. Do what? And I just want to say for the loan officer that invited you here today, I'm very expensive. Yeah. I would really appreciate for you guys to make, if this was valuable to you at all, because they literally told me all they wanted was an event that was going to bring value to the real estate agents that they serve so they can make this community better. I'm going to ask you to send that lender your next 2 referrals. You want to know why I say 2? Because the first one may be an easy one that's lucky. And I don't want it to just appear to be luck. But the loan officer who took the time, which guys, that's not easy either, to prospect and call and to risk putting yourself out there and inviting you. And, you know, they also want to help build a business and value you, but also value being a business partner because they know if they help you build a business, they may not always be able to give direct referrals back. But this is one way they help you build a business. So can I have all of you give me your word that your next 2 referrals are going to go to the lender that invited you today? All right, Brandon, take it over.
You hear me?
Do I need to be muted?
Is this on?
I'm not great at being muted.
Figure it out. Can you guys hear me? A little bit? All right. I'm Brandon. How's it going? Everyone good? Yeah? You guys need a stretch? Anything? All right. I'm going to start with, just because, you know, I get nervous when I'm in front of people. So I am going to start with, I don't have a screen. I'm not in front of the camera, behind the camera. So I'm going to start with some trivia. You might have heard some answers during Deborah's thing. So what is the percentage of Americans that are currently active on social media? You're going to get a hat. So no. Going down, going up. 75. Good job. All right, next one. What is the second most visited site online right now? What was that first one? Who said that? YouTube. Who said YouTube? There you go. Shirt for you. All right. This one, I don't know if you'll have the answer to, but how many hours of video are currently uploaded on social media every single day? Go big. I heard 600,000. That's higher than that. 750. I'm going to give that to you just because. Hat or a shirt? Hat. All right. So love you. It's 720,000 hours every single day are uploaded online. All right, let's go to the next one. I looked all these up this morning. So let's see how many times a day. This one is in the brochure or the worksheet. How many times a day do people on average open up TikTok? Nope, haven't heard it yet. No, per person. That'd be a lot. They're addicted. 20, a little bit lower than 20. 19. Who said 19? All right. I got a couple more. Let's see. What was the fastest growing social media company in 2022? I'm just gonna like. Everyone said it at the same time. Let's throw it out. All right. What is the average age group on Instagram? It starts at 18 and goes to what age? 35. I heard that right there. All right. All right. I don't know. You're doing pretty well on Instagram. I got one more. Let's see here. This is kind of a hard one. How many active social media users are there? 6. Maybe in this room right now. Active, go really big. What's the population of the entire world? That's no one knows that either. The entire world. There's 8 billion, but so what is like half of that? Okay, so who wants a hat? There you go. All right, so let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about 5 tips for better videos, but not only videos, I'm going to talk about social media in general. Social media is important. It's extremely important. It is how, just like it's your digital business card, right? It's how people find out about you. It's how they know about you, how they care about you, how you share with them. Every single one of my clients, I hear one thing. I work with them for a week. We post on it. And actually, let me pull it back a little bit. I want to talk about my team and I want to talk about myself real quick. So if you guys don't know, I am an active real estate agent. I've been doing real estate since 2012. I have a team of 10 agents. We sold about $36 million of real estate last year, which is only about 80 units. This year, we'll do about 110 units. I can't tell you exactly how many are from videos directly, but I can tell you it is because of our sphere that has grown because of videos, right? Because that's the power of it. And now getting back to every single one of my clients, the first thing they say is, I had 10 people reach out to me and say, I can't believe you're on social, or I can't believe you're doing that, or that video was great, or something about what you just now did. So stop thinking about social media as I'm going to reach all these new people, and remember that every dollar that you want to make this, so if your goal is 100,000 or 200,000 or 500,000 or $1 million this year, you probably already know the people, right? They just don't know that you have that value to bring them. So my team, Gabby is in the back. She's doing an Instagram live right now because she's awesome. And she is everything that Deborah said about Instagram or social that she said I did is actually Gabby. She researches, she's up on TikTok, she's up on Instagram, she's doing all that kind of stuff. I suck at social media. I really do. I'm not good at it because just like you guys, we're busy, right? I own 2 companies. I have 2 companies that are doing well, and I have to work with the agents on my team and coaching them. And then I have to build this company that's only 2 years old with the video company, but we're making 400 videos a month right now or more, right? So I don't have time for that. So I leverage myself through someone in my company, which is why Gabby came on board. Was she knew that this was a great place to expand to, because before I was just doing video and we were doing like TikTok. And then Michael's in the back. He's my full-time editor and my other videographer. I also have a podcast studio. So I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, if you guys don't know that. I have a podcast studio there. We produce podcasts. We have a full studio set up with different backgrounds, different stuff like that. So we have people come into the studio. We do home tours. We do all that stuff. So I have some admin staff and some other people there that do that. About 7 of us working for B-Roll Videos or B-Roll Productions. And I got into this because in 2019, my business took a dip, right? I wasn't capturing. So we've always been about 75 to 80% repeat and referral. And that year, I think I only done like 20 deals, right? And it was a lot of people that I was having to go out, and it was a lot of for sale by owners. There's a lot of expireds. It was a lot of that kind of stuff. I was working really hard for the business, and I just knew that I had to have a better social media presence. So I asked for Christmas for a camera, and I said on January 1st, I'm going to make a video every single day, all through 2020, right? I got to, what was it, 50 videos, and then the world shut down. All right. But during that time, I had done so much research. I've always been very, like, I've always loved cameras. I've always loved doing videos. I always loved the marketing aspect of things. And so, but the funny thing was because of those 50 videos, I was still able to feed my family all of 2020. I ended up still selling about 10 million worth of real estate because of the videos that I did, calling people, watching on YouTube all of my home tours. And my home tours were stupid. They were stupid. I had 4 cameras. So I used my phone. I used a GoPro. I used this M50 that I bought, and I set them up. And so I would set a camera here, and then I would walk on this camera and like look at the house. But then I would walk on this camera afterwards, and I'd look at the house again, and then I would blend them together. So there was 2 of me, and that was awesome, right? And everyone's like, "How is there 2 of you?" I was like, well, "Just wait. Next video, there's 6 of me," right? But people loved them, right? So I made 50 videos. And those 50 videos, they went out, and I only did new builds. So I went to every single new build for 2 months, and I did a video every single day so that I'd have those 253 videos at the end of the year. And that was my goal, right? I only got to a certain amount, but those videos carried me through an entire year, posting those, talking about them. And then I was able to start coaching during the pandemic, and we were only on Zoom. And I have this video, and it's super funny because everyone makes fun of me because, like, the minute I knew that we were going to be online and everything was going to turn on and do online open houses, and I had all this content of all the new builds, I was like, I am going to be the best online open house guy because no one else has all these content of these 50 new builds, but I do, right? So I went out and got like the best, like a mic, one of those like Yeti mics to sit on my thing, and I got another camera, and I like made the background in my office all like cool and had, you know, the LED lights behind me. But I took it seriously, and then I started coaching agents like, okay, this is how you do an online open house. No one had ever done one before. And now Showing Time has an option for an online showing, right? So it's kind of cool. So fast forward, it's been 2 years now owning B-Real Productions. We've had over 50 million views on my clients' videos. We do lenders. We have one client who's just a fitness instructor. She started at 10.7 thousand followers on Instagram, 10.3. And Gabby, in the last 30 days, she's now above 17,000. And 3. Right. So just by the power of video and the videos that we're doing. So that's a little bit about me. I need a drink of water. All right, so let's go ahead to the first thing. So we're going to be talking about preparing and scripting, setting the shot, some of the important stuff with video, as well as like the impact that social media has. So when preparing, you really need to look at like, what am I trying to achieve? And these are going to be for more of the videos, like planned out videos. There's 2 different kinds of videos that you need to be doing. The planned out stuff, the informative stuff, little bit of like research is done, right? You guys don't want to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. So we're gonna first ask, like, what am I trying to achieve? Am I going after buyers? Hopefully not in this market. Am I going after listings? Am I going after institutional buyers? Do I want to be that face of so that this institutional buyer calls me for my real estate company to be representing them on buying all of their houses, right? Whatever you want it to be. And then it's also what mood do you want? And you want to solicit some type of mood in every video, whether that be happiness, whether that be humor, whether that be empathy. It could be pleasure versus pain. If you don't do this now, are you okay with something else happening, right? And then what do you want them to do after the video? Every video doesn't need a call to action. If you're doing TikToks, don't be like, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, give me a call, right? You don't have to do that, right? You can end it. So prepare by asking some questions. So what are you looking, are you trying to find the business, or are you just trying to be the brand, right? Because being the brand, I think, is more important than asking for business right now. Like you want to be the person that they think of, right? Because just like any type of referral, like being online and you just want to be that what pops. You want to activate their RAS and be the person that pops up first, right? The reticular activator system. That's what that thing in the back of your head's called, right? Buy red car, see red car. So, and we also have to remember we're not going to target everybody, right? Don't try to target every single person. Try to target like a specific niche. Like if you're going to go after sellers, just do videos about sellers, right? Don't be all over the place. The KISS principle, everyone knows what that means. KISS principle, keep it simple or keep it super simple. We changed it to. You can't call people stupid anymore. Keep it super simple. Don't try to be the smartest person, and like don't be like just keep it simple. Tell them something extremely simple that they might not know, and they're gonna like that. Have a clear message. Like I said, be specific with who you're targeting, and then so it says I wrote down knowing your message and who it will go to will help you from being diluted. And what I mean by that is if you're all over the place, like sometimes we do such infrequent video that we want that one video to go to so many people, and we think that it's like this is the best video ever. I'm going to target institutional buyers, sellers, renters, everybody. At the end of the video, like I said, you say something like if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, buy a timeshare, you're just like going through it, like just please give me business. It doesn't work. So, and then research your topic. Researching is good in a couple ways. You're going to find out what people are asking. So the best way to research a topic is the easiest thing in the world. So if I type in my Google, Reno home builders, prices, depot, rentals, loans, you can just look, you can tell what people are already searching, right? Just type in your topic and see what everyone's already asking, right? You can do that on Google and YouTube super easily. So you can find 50 different ideas for videos. Some type of depth behind you is super important. A lot of feel super awkward. You'll see a lot of people, they're putting lights behind them, right? Use a light ring. It's going to light all of your face, right? It's going to make you that main point of focus. So if you're using, if you're kind of in a dark shadowed area, it's just not, it's not pleasing to look at, right? People are so like, everything's about how pleasing it is to look at. But at the same time, do not use every filter on Instagram, right? You didn't wear a purple eyeshadow that day. You don't need purple eyeshadow in your video. You don't need to look like you're 19, but I mean, some of those filters are great. Go through them, but like if they look super fake, like it's just going to be awkward, right? That's not what you look like. And then they're going to meet you and it's like bait and switch, catfished online by a realtor. Don't do that. The biggest thing is separate yourself from a background. right? Make yourself the point of focus, but separate yourself. So if you're in your office, sit on this side of the desk with your desk and everything behind you, giving yourself 5-10 feet behind you. Don't stand, with, super close to the wall. It doesn't look as good. So have a light behind you. You can get online right now on Amazon. And I think inside of the handout, if you download it, I put what's called a kit.co. You can actually see the lighting setup that I recommend you buy. There's a light ring, but also get a 3 light setup. So it's a front of you light, side, or above you. The lights above you are going to actually kind of give you a nice outline to your body, right? It's going to separate you, kind of give you a clear edge to your shoulders and everything like that. Lights behind you do the same thing. If you're shooting outside, don't be like in the sun, one of these. Don't be like this so you're too dark. Find like a nice shadowed area, or use like a wall. So if a sun's coming from this way, you're going to let the sun bounce off whatever you're on, and it's going to come on you, and it's going to look beautiful, right? So if you're doing those things, think about that kind of stuff, because people like to look at that kind of stuff, right? They like to look at a pretty person. They like to look at you caring about the video. Right? Even if you're not that cute, still try to be cute. It's fine. Like, try your best. So, let's go to the next slide. So, shooting on your phone. So, has everyone already gone through your phone and actually set it up for video? iPhones, I know. Samsungs, I don't care about. I don't know how you change anything. Don't even make video. You're just ruining it for everybody else. You can't even, don't turn my text screen. But if you go into your camera and up here in the corner, when you're shooting a video, it actually tells you the quality and the frame rate that you're shooting in. Okay, so a 4K video is going to be 4K, which, does everyone know what 4K means? Does anybody know what 4K means? 4,000 what? Pixels. Yeah. So when you're shooting in 4K, and it's going to just look better, right? You're going to be able to see every wrinkle. You're going to be, you can see everything. So now the frame rate. What does frame rate mean? How many frames per second? So the normal eye movement is what? Between 24 and 30 frames a second, right? I'm looking at my camera guy. Yeah. Okay. 24 and 30 frames a second. So that means that if it's faster than that, so if you're shooting everything at 60, it can look a little weird for people looking at it on their phones. That have, like, now you have these like super good like LCD, whatever the phone screen is, and so your blur is going to come out a little bit at 60. 120 is so fast that that's just going to be slowed down, right? So 60 frames a second. If you're going through a house, right? And by the way, if you want to do TikTok and you don't want to dance, so I had a challenge at my with my previous social media guy. He's still with us. He only does TikToks now because he's just so great at it. But we had a challenge. We both started TikTok the same day, and we said whoever gets to 10,000 followers the fastest wins. And I don't even think we had a prize. It was just more like I get to make me the 30 whatever year old person, and then him the 21-year-old. We said, okay, who's going to get there first? So I literally went to new builds because they're easy and they're pretty, right? You want stuff to be pretty. And I walked through, right? And this is the ninja walk, if you guys know anything about cameras. Right? I did this, and then I put a trending song on it, and I was at 17,000 followers in like 40 days, and I won. But now he's at like 60,000. So he actually wins, because how much business does he get from it? He just now listed a $1.2 million house just from a TikTok video, right? So yeah, does TikTok work for business? Absolutely. Did he actually have to get in front of it and do anything? No, no one knows what he looks like, right? I don't think he has one video of his face. Yeah, he's not very good looking. But he did that at 60 frames a second, because what can you do at 60 frames per second? You can speed it up or slow it down. If you slow down a 30 frame per second video, it looks choppy, right? If you speed up or slow down a 60 frames per second video, it looks smooth. And what do we want? We want things to look pretty. Smooth is pretty. And you'll see all those videos where it's like they enter the house, they're like in the kitchen, they're in the master bedroom. That's awesome, right? 60 frames per second. Cool. All right. And it says 70 on here on the board if we were there. It says 70 because my assistant, my handwriting is horrible. So the way you hold it really matters too. So when we were talking about 4K, okay, so if I shoot a video like this, but I want to now make it into TikTok format, what did I do to those pixels? I cut them off. You don't get pixels back just by resizing. Okay, so you want to shoot in the way that you're going to post. So if you take a horizontal video and you cut it down, you are making it less quality. You're probably changing some of the bitrate stuff in it. Who knows that you did that? TikTok. What does TikTok care about? Quality, right? So if you the lower the quality, the less views you get, which is totally not true because I've seen some really bad videos, but sometimes that happens. Okay, so you want to do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen. So 9:16, that's like this, or vertical. Reels, TikToks, Instagram. If you're doing Instagram stories, you want to do that. If you're doing Snapchat, yeah. Snapchat stories. Has anybody ever got on there? Weird things happen on Snapchat stories. Weird things. I'm not, just stay off of there. Horizontal, YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so Facebook is still going to be really good for that, the horizontal shooting. Don't change every home tour video you do to vertical yet, right? But definitely do a vertical home tour. So when you hire somebody, say, I want this in vertical and horizontal, and no, you cannot shoot it once, right? Shoot it twice. So they're, yeah.
Where the hell do I do a 9:16 or 19:1080? Splice does that for free. Shoot video, upload it, and it'll literally make it on whatever platform you're posting.
Yeah, it will show. What he was saying was there's an app called Splice. There's many apps out there. Splice, I think, is like $2 a month. Cut a bunch of them. And they will actually, so you can take the video. So if you shoot this way, it's automatically 9:16. If you shoot this way, it's automatically, well, yeah, the pixels changes. 1920 by 1080 is what horizontal is, and then 1080 by 1920 is what vertical is. But it gets bigger if you're shooting in 4K, so it doesn't matter. So, but just don't cheat. Don't cheat yourself on a great video by shooting it wrong. So hold your phone the right way. You want to fill the screen. Whatever platform you're doing, fill the screen. It's your real estate in their mind. So have you gone to Reels and you're flipping through Reels and then you get one that's in the wrong format and there's black on top and black on bottom? Yeah, you're like, nope. Right? No, I'm done with that one. We're not going to do that. So make sure that you're filling the screen. So energy. So while scripting is important and you have a really good message and you have all that, energy is what it's not always what you say, it's how you say it, right? So we all have seen those videos and they're just like, real estate market is really great right now. Homes are selling for better than ever before. If I'm your expert, call me, text me, email me if you want to buy, sell, invest real estate, right? I fell asleep. So energy, so the biggest thing is you do not have any time to waste on Reels. Zero time to waste on TikTok. If you pause at the beginning of a TikTok, it will do poorly every single time. So it will also do poorly if you say, hi, I'm Brandon Morgan with We Deal Real Estate, Keller Williams Executive First. You lost them, right? So we call that, and there's a really good word for it. I don't speak Latin. It's in medias res. That means in the middle. Start your videos in the middle. Stop starting them at the beginning. No one needs to know who you are at the beginning of a video. They don't even need to know who you are at the end of the video. If they want to know who you are, they will click on your profile, right? So start it in the middle. Even the best videos are going to come out, unenthusiastic if you just don't start with that instant energy, and do something weird. Do something weird at the beginning of the video, like just like a hair flip, and like all of a sudden you're like talking, and it's like awesome, right? You're like, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch it for 3 seconds, and I'm going to get that view, right? And then after I start talking, they might be bored, but start it with something. Every single platform, and I don't even think I'm talking about this yet, and we'll get to it. Every single platform cares about how long they're watching your video. If you get less time, you will not be seen anymore. So I have this really fun thing that I call, it's called the girlfriend voice. So everyone has, and I teach this when I'm teaching scripting for like phone calls for sale by owners, for all that stuff. I talk about the girlfriend voice. So you're with your bros, all these guys, and you're like, yeah, what's up, man? You're just being like, you're being a bro, but then your girlfriend calls. And what does your voice sound like? Hey, baby. Right? It goes up an octave. All of a sudden you're like, fun, right? Right? Use it. Use that voice that people actually want to talk to. Yeah, that's good. So now the hook. So we talked about the hook, and Deborah mentioned the hook being as a sticker on your videos. Extremely important. Every single reel you have, every single TikTok, you need to have that. That if someone's going to click on it, you want to have that cover picture, right? Have your little thing that says like what the video is about. Did I lose that? So start with a fascinating fact. Start with a what if. Surprise them, right? Start with a problem, then go to the solution. Make sure that at the beginning of the video, you're starting with your hook. You want them to at least listen to the hook, right? Because if they listen to the hook, the way that all of these algorithms work is if you're getting at least a certain amount far, they're going to push that out more. And we're going to talk about how TikTok and Instagram does that in a minute. Open with a joke, open with something. There's also a story aspect that you want to get into. Have you ever been on TikTok and you hear about like it's a story about someone like breaking up with their like boyfriend or something, and you like want to listen to the whole thing, and they're like for part 2, right? So it's like, but it's human nature that we want to hear the end of a story, even if it's something that doesn't even matter to us, right? So as realtors, we have so many stories. Like you'll never believe what happened when I walked in on a guy who was naked when showing. Like we all have those stories. Or like there was so many beer bottles in this house I was showing, right? Right. So or that is the entire video. Just do it. Just talk, right? And then have something. It doesn't even have to be what you're talking about. Like does this keep cutting out? I've seen videos that they're showing someone knitting or like beadworking, but then I'm hearing a story about like something completely different, but I watched the whole thing, right? I mean, I like beading and all that kind of stuff, but it just captures your attention because again, you want to hear the end of the story. So do that. But the biggest thing and kind of why I'm here and why I like talking to realtors and why I started this company to begin with. Well, so it wasn't to make $1 million. It wasn't to do anything. I wanted to bring video and social media and being a really good presence online to everybody, right? I respect being expensive. I am expensive for some things, but we tried to make it very affordable. We want to give people the affordable option with video. We want to give people the affordable option without taking away quality. We want to do these things because I know that consistency is what matters in this game more than anything else. When I was doing those TikTok videos, I was posting 3, 4, 5 times a day of these home tours. And that's the only reason that it got big. It wasn't because I was putting out the best content, but it was because every single day at specific times, like TikTok's weird. There's certain day like Monday, 6 a.m., 2 p.m., like 3 p.m., 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Like those are the times you have to post. There's certain times that people have figured out that the algorithm's going to catch and you're going to have a better video. And then the next day it's like, don't start posting until 7 a.m. and then wait 5 hours, then post at this time. So it kind of is a little bit tricky with that kind of stuff. And we do a lot of research on that. But the other problem with consistency is that this is such a fast moving, fast paced you know, platforms that we're on. Like, how often are you on Facebook scroll or on Instagram scroll or anywhere else and you see an awesome video and then you accidentally refresh and that shit is gone forever. You will not find that. And you're like, I have no idea who posted it. Like and then you're telling a friend, like, oh, don't worry about it. I saw it like 2 hours ago. It's right on my feed. Like you're like scrolling and scrolling. You'll never find that video. Being consistent also means that you want to show up on this feed all the time, right? Because if you're just on there once or twice, it just doesn't, you'll never be found. So you make sure that you're doing that. So just for stories, Instagram, Facebook, etc., stories should be posted 10 times a day, at least. So right now, everybody in this room should have already posted 3. All right. Walking in, getting your food, sitting down, me, Deborah. I mean, if you, I should be on there by now. TikTok, 1 to 3 times a day. Instagram, at least a daily post, if not 3. I don't like to clog up my grid. If you look at my Instagram, you'll notice that I do not have anything on my grid. I delete them all. I also don't post as much on that. Gabby does the business stuff. Facebook, 3 to 5 times post per week is probably pretty good. YouTube, 1 per week, and then 3 to 5 shorts a week. So has everyone started doing YouTube shorts yet? That is awesome. That's getting tons and tons of play. So YouTube shorts, if you want to be 60 seconds. 15 seconds is really the really good amount of time right now too. I've only been able to do it through my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you?
Yep.
Just by hitting the same button?
I just uploaded it. It was a reel that
When you put on a video and it's really short, it'll make it a short itself.
Cool. You know, I'm not the one posting this stuff. Full disclosure. So it's short. 15 to 6 micro content. So vertical micro content. They do not allow horizontal on shorts. Okay. So it's anything that you'd see on TikTok or Instagram for Reels. They're just competing with Reels and TikTok. That's all it is. So what's crazy is 7-second videos right now are huge, right? So on Instagram, on TikTok, 7-second. There's a trick with a 1-second video. If you ever want to get a lot of views, just post a 1-second video, but like do something where people are like, wait. And then you get like 10 views per person. It's awesome. Yeah. So the question was, if you make one video and use it on all of them, yes, you can put it on Instagram, you can put it on TikTok, you can put it on Shorts, 100%. And it might do amazing on TikTok, really poorly on Instagram. You have 4 views on Shorts, or vice versa. So yes, try it, but maybe switch up hashtags. So hashtags are very, very important on any of those. So TikTok, Instagram, Reels, or Shorts.
Can I interject?
Yes.
It's me.
Where? Yes. Gabby.
If you are going to recycle content, you need to remove the watermark. Do not post something on Instagram that has a TikTok watermark and vice versa. There are websites that you can use. I have 2 that I use. So you don't have to create content for every single platform that you're posting on. So one, and then just use it across all of them.
So, and that's also like why a lot of the time, so when we shoot videos, so we actually do a lot of TikTok and we do Reels for our clients shooting on the big cameras, right? And then we'll take that and then Gabby will go and put it into each one individually. It's never made directly in Instagram or it's never made directly in Reels for her individual stuff that she's using. So if she's doing stuff just for her and she makes it in Instagram or makes it in TikTok, she's then removing the watermark because there are some analytical reasons to do that. So you can't use the filters sometimes afterwards. You can't use the effects afterwards, that kind of stuff.
We could take off the watermark because I do come across that problem instead of me trying to just download and then keep re-downloading.
She's
it.
doing live right now on Instagram, but I'm sure that afterwards, if you want to come talk to her, we're going to be out here doing, if everyone doesn't know, we're going to be giving away gifts. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Is that the one that crops or is that the non-cropper?
So if you go to repost,
Repost,
it's an app. I can put it in the-
TikTok. Is that the cropper one?
I don't use either one of those. I use a different one.
There's one on a desktop that you can use, but I download this app, you just put in the link, and then you can, if you're doing it from your phone, like if you want to be mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two that I use. You do them from your phone and you copy the link just like that. But
So they're
I
out
can
there.
give you. I can
Yeah,
give
they're out there.
because
we
some
can
of them.
sh- yeah.
Sorry, some of them will just straight crop your video.
Yeah, you don't want to crop them.
Yeah.
Again, you want to like, it'll take like this much off of each side of the video. You don't want to do that.
and it'll mess with the quality. So
Right.
I mean, you just
Right.
play with them. But I have two that I really like.
Cool. So I can't even say, have a constant look to your videos. The look of your Instagram, YouTube tells a story. So if you notice, like some people have like really pretty grids, right? They're like, you go to their Instagram or you go wherever else and they're just super pretty. Like the colors are all laid out, all that kind of stuff. Or the videos, it's always like a really nice background, like thrive for being very consistent in your aesthetic. Yep. I wrote that word. It gives your channel personality. It makes it easier for the people to recognize it's your brand. So how awesome is it when people like they call me or they'll call you and say, hey, I saw a video. I didn't even see you on the screen yet. And I knew it was yours or something like that. Right. You want to have that. Make sure your content, your thumbnails, all that kind of stuff, just match your personality. Don't try to be someone you're not. Like if you're boring, just make boring cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like figure out a way, like if you're super pink and awesome and you know, you have certain colors that you love to wear, use those colors in your branding, right? Or on your, you know, in your thumbnails, all that kind of stuff. The easiest way is just be yourself, but like a cooler version of you. So that's the goal. So watch time. So let's talk about watch time. That's the one we're getting to. So social media companies, that is what they're going to thrive for. So you have analytics. Everybody in this room, if you're a business account on Instagram, and I'm going to get pushback on this possibly, but if you're a business account on Instagram, change it to a creator account. Because then you can actually use trending music. You can do all that kind of stuff. You can do longer. Yeah, you can. It's better. You can, because if you're a business account, they don't let you put like, you know, who's a big singer. Yeah, you can't do any of the like the top music, trending songs, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to want to be able to do that.
Brandon.
Can you still connect it to your Facebook business profile? Okay.
We don't have a business, that business account. Because if you go to a creator account and you're posting real estate stuff in the state of Nevada, that's
As long as you're telling people that you're a realtor and inside of your bio, you should have all of your information, your legal information. It does not look different. No one's going to be able to see from the outside that this is a creator account or a business account, right? Yeah, no, yeah, and you're going to want to have all that. And I don't have it here, but if you want, give me your information. I have like this really good cheat sheet of everything a realtor should have in that bio section. That's going to help you out a lot.
Just so you guys know, there's on your note sheet at the bottom, there's a QR code that says scan me for the guide. So there's like a 20-page guide with a ton of the stuff that we're talking. So you guys can scan that and print it. And then everything else we will email and get out to you guys, so you guys don't feel like you're missing out.
So going back to audience retention is super important.
Oh, so quick question. When you said about just to do the creator versus the business page, are we talking about Instagram? Because I've actually what I did with my Instagram was went from private and then I did the business page, but I was still able to play all those songs, like the top trending songs.
So I'm wondering if you put it on business or you put it on creator.
So should I just go back to creator then?
You're supposed to be creator.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's this is not part of this class, but I personally feel if you have a business page and then you have a personal page, get rid of your business page. If you're a realtor, don't have 2 pages. You are you. Don't try to be 2 separate people. If you're posting about your family, like, oh, I'm not going to post about my family every day on my business page. Why the hell not? Right? People don't. This is a very relational business. We are not, trying to separate like when they call you, say, can you show Saturday? And you're like, sorry, I have soccer. Like, no, I'm sorry, I have 4 other clients, even though you have soccer. Like, you don't do that. Like but if they see on Facebook that you have soccer every Saturday, they're gonna be like, cool, I love seeing make sure you post another video of your kids playing soccer. I love that. Can we go out Sunday? Yeah, cool. Right. Don't try to be two separate people. There's really no point to it. They used to always be doing this, have a business page. If you have a big team, have a team page that has like your content for the team, but every agent then shouldn't have a business and personal. Just have your personal pages, then you have your business page. Like if you have a team, if you don't have a team, don't have that. Right. That's my personal, that's my soapbox there. But audience retention is super important because and a lot of people ask this question. She's left. Like, how do you get big on TikTok and all these things? And how many people in this room have a TikTok right now? How many people posted like 5 posts and then they had their 6th post and they have 200,000 views, or they have 26,000 views, or they have like 50,000 views? Like, do you guys have that? So what that is, while good job, you posted a really great video, it's typically TikTok actually testing your channel. Okay. So what they do is they're going to look at your channel. They're going to look at your video. They're going to push it out to a next phase. Phase 2 should be about 30,000 views. Phase 1 is that the ones that you see that all of your TikToks have 235 views. That is like your organic, like it's going to go to the kind of the people. It's going to show up on the For You page for probably people you already know. It's going to go a little bit larger, but that's kind of like your built-in audience. Phase 2 is going to be that 30,000. Phase 3 is going to be, when you're getting to hundreds, 200s, millions. Phase 4 is when you're getting into like the 10 millions, the ones where Coke and Pepsi and all those people start at. So if you're constantly showing up in phase 2 and you're having 25, 30,000 views, that's a really great place to be. If you're, and then you can move to phase 3, they're widening every time they're doing it, they're widening it, right? So you're going to want to stay, if you're staying in phase 1, it means you need to change what you're doing. Okay. You need to look at your analytics. Are you getting 75% or more watch time? You want to stay above 75%. So you want people to watch 75% of your video. So if it's 30 seconds, you're going to want to have 75% of those 30 seconds. Can't do that math, but whatever that is. So again, it's testing your content. If you have that one big video, you have to make sure that you're constantly so if you find that niche that's working, keep doing that until it's not working, right? Or if you did it and you didn't get views the second time, change that up a little bit. Okay. So we have one client, he's in the mortgage world. He's getting anywhere between, right now he's in phase or in the 3rd tier, consistently getting about like 500,000 views. His highest ones is 6 million. And we've grown him to 0. We started with him last year, and now he's at about 70,000 followers. Actually was able to open branch. Right. So he's actually, he got his license in 5 other states so he can actually get money from those deals. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Besides the bonus of what do I do with my hands is the #1 question any videographer gets. Okay. And it's actually why a lot of people won't do videos. Like, what are we doing? So you don't do this, right? Don't do this. So there's what's called the influence zone it's from your belly button to your eyes, right? So this is the place that your hand should reside inside this area. So it could be everything from, and go towards the camera. You're talking to the camera. You're not talking like out here, right? So like if you're talking about something, stay in this influence zone and just speak to the camera. Right? If you do need to have your rest, everyone has like a natural rest. What was yours? The lotus? What was it? It's like this one, like the fig leaf. Yeah. So, but stay inside the influence zone. So if you're going to rest your hands, rest it more like here than way down here, right? Rest it here. Keep them here. Cross your hands. I do the church pose a lot, right? So whatever that is. Hands are very important. You want to, what you're interacting with your hands, you're getting people to you're bringing them in, right? So don't hands in the pockets. Don't do any of that kind of stuff, but just use them to express your ideas. So awesome, guys. So we are going to do a GIF event right after this. We're going to be out there. Come by. We're going to actually record 2-3 GIFs for everybody. They're really fun. Don't overthink it. Get up there and like do something crazy. You'll be able to put that on your Instagram. You'll be able to do all that kind of stuff. Also, you do have a handout. We are a coaching company. We are a video company. We're all that. It kind of talks about that kind of stuff. Look over it. If you have any questions, come and talk to us in the hallway. Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right, you guys, what do you think of today? Valuable? Okay, as you guys are leaving, because we all want to activate you, I want you guys to think of one thing that you will do. I will do. What's one thing that you'll take away from today? Do it. Find your business partners and hold yourself accountable. Lastly, we do have flyers on the desk. Next month, we are doing an event called Meet the Builder. We all know today's market, there's lots of shortage in inventory. So we are bringing all of the builders together. We're going to have our builder Bible that we put out. That is going to be May 19th at the Builders Association of Northern Nevada. So you guys will be getting emails and information on that, but please mark your calendars. We're going to have our title partners there. It's going to be a fantastic event. So make sure you guys come. And then Deborah's going to be up here for questions. If you guys have questions, Brandon will be and his team will be in the back. And thank you guys again for coming. This was amazing.